Wilson, stick handling right in front of his own net. Managed to get away with it. But the Blues able to keep it in. Brind'Amour chopped it to the far corner. Manson there. Trying to get it out. Couldn't do it. Brind'Amour, the quick shot. He scores! Rod Brind'Amour with a quick release. Fired it by Millen as the Hawks twice had possession in their own zone and failed to clear it. 1-0 St. Louis.
Millen should have made that save. But a giveaway, not only once but twice, results in the first goal of the series.
Oates, Rich Sutter, and Lowry for St. Louis. Goulet on the left side, puts Roenick to center. Steps over the line on Schnepp, trying to battle around him. Schnepp's able to force him to the corner. Now dug out by Larmer, center, and Goulet to Wilson, the shot! He scores! Doug Wilson! What a shot! From close range, a rich shot barely under the crossbar, and the Hawks have tied the game at 1. Mahar, little assistance to...
Well, these guys would be good types for women to marry. They do everything these lines. They knit, they tie up holes in the nets, they do everything.
No windows, though.
I've never seen one replace one here.
Yeah. There's a two-line pass. Oh, they call it onside. Mahar's in. He scores! Rick Mahar! And the Hawks are hollering that should have been an offside play. The goal, though, will stand. And the Blues captain, Rick Mahar, makes it 2-1 St. Louis. Oh, down they thought this play was offside. As that puck never touched anybody. That's a two-line offside pass.
Well, did the puck cross the line before Lowry did? And it looked like it did on that angle. A real close call, but it looks...
Banged up on that last shift. Oh, here's Larmer and Wilson colliding. Quick shot by Oates. Millen stopped it. Rebound. Controlled by Chicago. And the goal knocked off the moorings. And the Blackhawks not looking very crisp here at the start of the second period. And if the Hawks penalty is over, both teams back at full strength. Sergio Momesso cranks a long shot, sailing wide of the Hawk net. Behind the goal, Momesso, center one, quick shot, they score! Brind'Amour! As the Hawks unable to get control in their own end off a long shot initially by Momesso, who then got to his own shot eventually. Put it in front, and Brind'Amour has scored twice tonight. 3-1 St. Louis. Enjoy Murray. Murray to Sutter. He failed to hold the pass. Oh. Here's a lead for Brett Hull. Cuts over the Hawk line. Moves for the net. Shooting. He scores! Brett Hull, and again a counterattack situation for St. Louis. A quick outlet to Hull. He had a step on everybody else. Cut in and blew it by Millen low to the stick side. 4-1 St. Louis. So Eddie the Eagle Belfour gets the gear on, and he'll replace Millen. And this will hardly make Millen very happy. He wanted to have a great series against his ex-teammates, and he'll still have a chance to do that, but tonight's not going to be the night. Millen trying to exhort his teammates to remind them there's still plenty of time to get into it, but the Blues have been a much sharper and crisper team so far in this game. Walks into the deep slot, left it for Wilson, then Larmer got it back. Larmer long flip shot, Roenick, rebound, they score! Trent Yawney snuck into the near post after Roenick on the doorstep was yanked down. The puck came free, and the Blackhawks score on the power play, trailing now 4-2. Ahead to Creighton. In over the Blues line. Creighton, the shot is blocked. Trickles in front of shot. Riendo, rebound, where is it? No, now they score, no goal. No goal. Dennis Morrell lost sight of the puck and blew the whistle. No doubt about it. The Blackhawks thought they were within one. No dice. It's still 4-2.
Gilbert in a turnaround from in close, and then Thomas pokes it. Morel is on this side, can't see that the puck is loose in behind, and the whistle clearly blown before the puck went in.
Yawney put it behind the net to Creighton. Adam Creighton trying to center. Oh, Thomas was turned around. He couldn't find it. Behind the net it goes. Schnepp tied up by Creighton. Creighton steals it. Out to the near point. Yawney. Here's the long shot. Blocked out in front. Rolled loose behind the net. Jeff Brown wants to clear it, and he can't get it out. Doug Wilson for Thomas in the corner. Thomas battled loose behind the net. There's going to be a Blues penalty. Now came loose at the big shot. They score! Adam Creighton of the goal Felt they could move Greg Millen along. And of course, Curtis Joseph, a fine prospect in the Blues net-minding position. Here's a bad hop in front of the hot net. Belfour scrambled back to keep his team in the hunt. Last-ditch opportunity here for Chicago as the players have trouble lining up for the draw. Creighton's going to go for the face-off against Ron Wilson. Again, a problem with players jumping the gun a little bit. Now ready, the puck is dropped. Wilson tied him up to Presley. Riendo with 1 second left. Wayne Presley off the scramble from the face-off. The puck came right to him between the rings. He fired. If it's in, it's good. There was 1 second still on the clock. Riendo slams the door. The Blues have won the first game of the series.
Vincent Riendo had beaten the Hawks 4-3 in his first career playoff start. Not just that, before Game 2, Denny Savard went to Mike Keenan and demanded to know why he did not play more in Game 1. The two became embroiled in a bitter dispute that resulted in Savard leaving the hotel where the team stayed at when it played its home playoff games. Just a sort of controversy that Keenan used to light a fire under his team before a much-needed victory.
Goes up the left wing boards off the skate of Brind'Amour back into the Chicago zone. To the near side, McLean got to the loose puck. Center one, tip, Millen the save, rebound. Oates can't get to the loose puck, tied up on the play and with the power play. And Fowler looks to clear, couldn't get it out. Goulet center, run it right in. Riendo, rebound. Savard held it in. Up the boards for Larmer. Larmer on the far side. Back to the deep slot in Yanni. Yanni hangs on, faking. Now back to Yanni along front of the save. Rebound, he scores! Steve Larmer picked up the rebound. Fired it over the fallen Riendo. And the Blackhawks cash into the power play to take a 1-0 lead. Rod Brind'Amour stops looking for the trailer. He hangs on. Brind'Amour still has it. Bounce one to the side of the net. And it's cleared loose to Wilson on the far side. The Hawk penalty over. Wilson gave it away to Brind'Amour. Side of the net. Here's Oates centering a shot. They score! Brett Hull tapped it into an open side. Doug Wilson, an uncharacteristic giveaway in his own end. An awful pass to Brind'Amour, and the Blues wind up making him pay. It's 1-1.
Well, Brett Hull, 7 goals in the playoffs, 79 for the year.
Wilson gave it to Roenick. Beating Larmer over the line. His return pass bounced to Roenick, who shoots and a save. Rebound, Goulet! What a save by Riendo! Goulet's stick partially tied up by Paul McLean, and McLean, I believe, there saved the goal. Clear it. Cavallini tries the near side, and Brind'Amour deflects it to center, where Presley golfs it back in there. Forward Robert gave it away to Presley. He puts up the shot, shoots. Riendo, they score! Presley! Riendo seemed to get a piece of it, but it dribbled into the net. An awful pass by Gordon Roberts. Put it right to Presley, and he makes the Blues defenseman pay. 2-1 Chicago. Play. Brett Hull over the line, leads for Oates. Trying to center one, it deflects to Keith Brown. Fired it to the near side. Oates holds it in. Centered one. McLean to the corner. McLean behind the net, taken by Brind'Amour. Center one, a shot, they score! Brett Hull. They had the puck on his stick in less than a heartbeat. It was there, it was gone, and Brett Hull with his second tonight ties the game at 2. Deep slot to Wilson, feeding Savard. Savard hangs on. Back to the far point, Bob Murray for Savard. Heels off to the boards, hangs on, centered it to Wilson. Here's a drive. They score! It may have been tipped in by Troy Murray, who was in front of the net. Wilson with the blast from the deep slot, redirected by Riendo. 3-2 Chicago. Here's Thomas on a steal, in over the line, fired, he scores! Steve Thomas with a steal and score! And the Blackhawks, with 2 goals in 10 seconds, have taken a 4-2 lead.
Good play by Bob Murray to stand up on Oates, forcing the turnover, and then Thomas made them pay. But Bob Murray, the veteran, inserted in the lineup, stood up, forced the turnover, and Thomas made them pay just under the glove to give the Hawks 2 goals in 10 seconds.
Got it behind the net, Gilbert. Gilbert took a bump there from Paul Cavallini, who jammed it loose to McLean. And now Lawler it to center ice. Brind'Amour gave it to Paul Cavallini. Split to the fence. He's in. Cavallini shoots. He scores! Paul Cavallini splits the Hawk defense at the blue line and fires a wrist shot past Millen, who got a piece, but it dribbled in behind him. And Paul Cavallini gets the Blues close at 4-3. Mike Lawler turns for the Blues. Give it to Paul Cavallini. Back to Lawler. Ahead for Hull over the line. Hull trying to cut in on Yanni. He center one. Zazzle. Millen! What a save by Greg Millen! And Peter Zazzle had him all to himself. Savard the other way. In over the line. Center one. Troy Murray. 27 seconds to go. 4-3 Chicago. Here's the draw. Jeff Brown will hammer it in there. Around to the far side. Hull. Bounced it loose to the line. Stolen by Roenick. Roenick tapped it to Gilbert. Tried for the empty net. He gave it to Roenick. Hawks win! Hawks win! Jeremy Roenick into the empty net. Makes it 5-3 Chicago. They drop the puck. The crowd counts it down, and the Hawks have tied the series. Just what we expected, a hard-fought game tonight, as was Game 1, and Greg Millen accepting congratulations from his teammates. Here we go now with Game 3 as Paul Cavallini retreats in his own end. Cavallini has nowhere to go with it, hammers one off the glass back into the Hawk zone. Dave Manson is on it. He falls down. Hall steals, centered, and Zazzle tied up, rebound, they score! At the 18-second mark after Dave Manson blows a tire, Sergio Momesso makes it 1-0 Blues.
Well, Momesso coming off his finest year ever in the National Hockey League.
Looking for Savard along the boards. Ron Wilson stepped into him. Now the Blues, Wilson can't get it by. Doug Wilson at the near point. For Larmer. Side of the net, Goulet. Deep slot to Wilson, a drive. They score! Tipped in. It may have hit Snaps. The Blackhawks on the power play score their third of the series, and their fourth of the series, I should say, and now the Hawks have tied St. Louis at 1.
18 seconds of the game, the Blues score, and the tip in off the stick and skate of Snepson past the surprise Vince Riendeau.
Sergio Momesso banks it for Adam Oates. Oates in over the Hawk line. His pass stolen by Manson. Manson back to the Blues line, fakes the shot, got around Lawler, shooting. Riendeau! He gloved that one between his legs, reaching behind. It may have gotten a piece of the left pad, but then a circus-type move by Riendeau to keep the puck out of the net. 6.5 to go in the first. It's 1-1. Here's the draw. Brett Hull scores! Adam Oates won the draw from Savard, and just like that, Hull scores his 9th playoff goal in 8 games. 2-1 Blues. Bounced it to Larmer on the right wing boards. He failed to get it out. Mahar trying to center one, deflects to Rich Sutter, trying to put it in front. And a nice play by Larmer to pick it off. Now a centering pass. And a shot, I think, got to the post. Millen able to corral it as Lowry and Sutter were around the front of the goal. Clearing it up the boards to Lemieux. Jocelyn Lemieux dumping it in. Back of the goal, Brind'Amour harassed by Presley, who jammed it loose to Lemieux on the far side. Into the corner, Roenick. Jeremy Roenick center one, they score! Roenick threw it right through the slot, and Dave Manson all alone off the near post. A one-time shot in past Riendeau, and Manson puts the Hawks into an even game now at 2-2.
Good forechecking.
Taken by Adam Oates. Cleared it up the near side. Brind'Amour whacked it out to center. Yanni steals it there. Cleared it back to the Blues line. Now Brind'Amour carries it back into the Hawk zone. Brind'Amour up the slot to Brown. He scores! Jeff Brown on a one-time feather pass from Rod Brind'Amour, and the rookie Brind'Amour continues his outstanding series. Michel Goulet, a quick release right from the doorstep, and Riendeau with a right pad. Keeps the Blues out in front. Here's a steal by Roenick to Thomas for Goulet. Riendeau again. Rebound to the Blues. And
Vincent Riendeau, brilliant here in the third period. Thomas out front to Goulet, the quick shot. Riendeau kicked it away. And then right after it, a giveaway by the Blues, picked off by Roenick into Goulet, and Riendeau, the same type of save.
The 40th shot of the game by the Blackhawks. Riendeau stopped 38 of them. The draw to Jocelyn Lemieux. Flips it ahead. Bob Murray to the far corner. Shoots one. Shot it wide. Wilson at the near point keeps it in. His long shot. Riendeau through a screen. Rebound. They score! From behind the net. Bob Murray banked it in off a fallen Riendeau. Murray was behind the goal line extended. He chipped it out in front off Riendeau and in. And this game is tied at 3.
Bob Murray just put it out front. So Lemieux and Doug Wilson will get the assists on Bob Murray's goal. Riendeau disgusted. He can't believe.
Putting it in, hoping for Gilbert. Chases in behind the net. He got a big hit there from Paul Cavallini. Then Savard took it away for Gilbert back of the goal. He took a bump there, then still tried to center as he was knocked down. It winds up behind the net again. Thomas trying to wrap around. They score! Steve Thomas on a wraparound. It may have actually been tapped in by a Blues player before it was over, but after great work, board work by Greg Gilbert behind the net, Thomas came to help him out, and Steve Thomas.
He was hit 4 times behind the net and still continued the battle and allowed the play to continue.
Gilbert and Savard are given the assists on Steve Thomas' 4th playoff goal at 14:38. 2 goals in just over 2 minutes for Chicago.
But maybe they sat back too soon.
Brett Hull cranks it up, but it deflects wide off of Conroy. Now Zezel near corner. Center one, Jeff Brown, a back pass. Roberts has to chase for it. Now takes the long shot. It's score! Gord Roberts! Shot one through traffic. It may have been deflected, and Greg Millen appeared as if he never saw it. And the Blues come right back and tie the game at 4.
Some unlikely goals here in this third period behind.
And Oates won the draw to Paul Cavallini. Hammers it around the board. Back to center and McLean. Paul McLean got rubbed off by Yanni. Taken by Roenick on the far side. Swings it around to the near board. Gino Cavallini kept it in. Behind the net, Oates centered it. Oh, McLean missed it. Now Jeff Brown the shot. Millen the save. Rebound. Cavallini. They score! Blues win! St. Louis with 9 seconds left. Cavallini makes it 5-4. Over 17,000 are loving it. They drop the puck. The Blues win. It's official now. And the Blues have taken the lead in the series 2-1. Cavallini has him in a headlock as the play goes on. Brett Hull works it to the Hawk line. Fires! Oh, Belfour. Chicago team's been beaten badly on. Here's Hull right in. Great save by Belfour. An anxious look into his glove from Belfour. Roenick tees up a long shot. Riendeau makes a blocker save. Now Keith Brown bangs it to the far side. That was Jeff Brown, rather. And here's Presley back over the Blues line. Weaving to the deep slot. Waiting. Shooting. He scores! Presley allowed to stand there by Jeff Brown for the longest time. Presley ripped one by Riendeau to the stick side. And the Blackhawks lead 1-0.
Riendeau, but Riendeau didn't see it. High to the stick side. Wayne Presley red hot in the playoffs.
Wayne Presley now in 10 playoff games has exceeded his entire goal output for the regular season. He scored 6 in the regular year, and he's got 7 now in the postseason. Murray bumped along the boards. Now came loose behind the net. Dirk shot it to the near side. Yanni keeping it into the corner. Troy Murray tied up. Goulet dug it out to Creighton. No moving and shoots. Blocked by Jeff Brown. Trickling right in front. They score! Goulet! Riendeau somehow failed to corral a puck that was laying loose right in his own goal crease. He seemed to be slow to react, and Goulet makes him pay, tapping it in. The Hawks with 2 quick ones lead 2-0. St. Louis end of the ice. Rod Brind'Amour motors back over the Hawk line. Brind'Amour to the near side, in on Brown, cuts and shoots, he scores! Rod Brind'Amour, his 3rd goal with 2 minutes left in the period. To Savard, now Larmer. Back to Savard. Crossing the Blues line. Savard weaves to the far side. Now put it to Yanni just off the bench. He shoots, he scores! Trent Yanni just over the boards on a player change. Walked into the deep slot. Savard laid the mattress pass there, and Yanni laid on it and blows it by Riendo for a 3-1 Chicago lead. Here's the draw. Paul Cavallini with a long wrist shot. It doesn't get through. Ron Wilson tries for Cavallini. Did well to hold it in. Then center. Gino, he shoots. Big save by Belfour. Gino Cavallini with a turnaround drive right between the circles. And Belfour with a great stop. Now a little scuffling around the goal mouth, but the linesman able to keep everybody from getting into it, at least for now.
Good individual effort by Cavallini. Then on one knee turns. Gino fires. And Belfour well back in the net.
Tuttle dug it out. 2 outs for Paul Cavallini. Cavallini to the deep slot. A long shot sails wide. Ron Wilson chopped it in front. Deflects to Gino Cavallini in the corner. Gino hanging on. Side of the net. Wilson shoots. He scores! How did that go in? Ron Wilson at the goal line extended. Just banked it off of Ed Belfour into the net. And the Blues have a power play. Now trail 3-2.
I don't think Belfour ever saw the shot.
Kick to Jeff Brown. Fire! Belfour rebound. He didn't give one up.
The Blues have had 3 power plays in a row and have 1 goal in the third. Wilson made it 3-2 on assist from Cavallini and McLean. Every one of these games has gone right down to the last minute.
Zezel to Momesso. Belfour again holds the fort for Chicago. What a pass by Zezel. A touch pass from behind the net. Just redirected it right into the slot. And Ed Belfour mobbed by his thankful teammates in his first career playoff start.
Harold snaps at the line, knocked it in, picked off by Savard. Here's Savard going in, a shot, big rebound, and it bounced away from Al Secord. From the point, Keith Brown with a shot, another shot by Secord. They bang away at it. The Hawks with the best scoring opportunity of the game early. Here's a shot by Brown, the rebound, Secord can't get it past Riendo. The draw comes back to the line. Keith Brown with a shot. Is it in? No, right on the line. It was right on the line and did not go across.
4 good shots, though, from the point area, Don. The fact this one here will just trickle and stay on the goal line. The puck did not get over the line. A part of it did.
But that young man, Vincent Riendo, held the fort early, and he got a big break off his goal post. Presley back to Savard, over to Wilson. 20 seconds left in the 2-man advantage. At the side of the net, a centering attempt. Riendo keeps that out, and he manages to cover up.
Hawks have been just reluctant to shoot that puck from dead center.
To the point to Yanni. Yanni tried to play it again into the corner. Knocked away from him. Hull gets it up to Wilson. Wilson back to Hull. The shot, the quick release, and the save by Ed Belfour. He breaks out, gives it across to Troy Murray. A shot saved by Riendo. It was heading for the corner, and Riendo picked it off. And now Snepson and Presley push and shove in front of the net. The 2 of them battle again behind the goal as the puck comes out the other side. And Brindamore flips it up ice. And now we've got a scrap going on in the corner. Trent Yanni. And I'm not sure who the St. Louis player is.
What happened, Don, is the puck went around the sideboards, and they initially collided, and then they decided to try to settle it by dropping their sticks. But
having weathered that 2-man disadvantage, now have a power play of their own. Brindamore tried to slide it into the corner. It comes back to the point. There's the shot. They score! From the point, Adam Oates with his first playoff goal.
came over from Montreal for Jocelyn Lemieux, who Montreal traded to Chicago.
He lets a shot go. It's blocked. Away goes Lemieux. He's got a breakaway. Scores!
See him heads up, gets the spot, puts it in like a veteran. Jocelyn Lemieux has electrified this crowd. And amazing the fact that he was involved in the deal.
Conroy around to Bob Murray. He pushes it ahead to Troy Murray. He drives it in. Gilbert Back to the point. Manson with a long shot. That deflects to the corner. They score!
Shoot-in comes, and it comes all the way around, and you might see 3 or 4 Hawks right inside. They're just going off, and the puck right off his head and over. Now it's about 4 feet ahead above. Riendeau bounces on the line and in.
Chase flips it in. Races in after it, but Belfour got there first. Back comes Thomas. Long shot, he scores! Oates fires it around the boards. Larmer takes a hit from Cavallini. It comes back to Snips. There's his shot. And Belfour blocks it and then pounces on the rebound. Back to the line to Brown. He gets it back to Hull. Hull to Brind'Amour. In front. They just failed to deflect. Paul McLean couldn't get it, but Hull scores. It comes back to Hull, and he scores.
27 power play goals to lead the NHL.
Leg. He gets it again. There's his shot. It's blocked. Here's a breakaway for Hull. Brett Hull going in, and it's deflected up into the crowd. He was being harassed.
Denny Savard, I'm sure, is the Hawk that was able to catch up to Hull. I thought he was gone.
Gino Cavallini, and across the line is checked. He gets it over to Zezel. Zezel moving in, the save by Belfour. That may have been a game saver right there.
And he didn't.
But Ed Belfour has performed well for the Chicago Blackhawks. His first start in Game 4. The draw comes back to Hull. There's the shot. It's blocked, and that's the game.
Zezel got the draw right back to Hull.
So Mike Keenan and his Chicago Blackhawks take a 3-2 lead into St. Louis on Saturday night after their 3-2 victory here at Chicago Stadium tonight. The stadium, but the Hawks, with those 3 goals in the second period, won it by a score of 3-2. Brown with a shot from the point. Belfour the save, the rebound, they score! Zezel or Mongeau.
But the 2 linesmen, you might see a hand pass here as the both linesmen raced in. No goal, no goal. Here we get a look at it now. The shot comes right in from Brown. And finally you'll see Zezel. Mongeau to the right, 41, will put it in. In fact, it wouldn't have been a goal anyways.
And now Maroelli explaining to Wilson and Oates the reason for disallowing the goal. 1:43 remaining in the power play. Zezel to Oates, to Mongeau. Back to Oates, a shot, they score!
With a quick pass from Oates on the left side, you see Oates throw it right at the net. He fakes and fakes. He gives those passes to Hull that he can redirect very easily. But
Sutter and Cavallini off the ice. Harold Sneps takes Adam Creighton in against the boards. Tuttle moving out of his own zone to Lowry. Lowry trying to cut in. He does. He scores!
now we got Jacques Loutier's first appearance for the Hawks in the playoffs this year.
I think this might be a record for Captain Hook, as Mike Keenan has been nicknamed. 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, the starter, Ed Belfour, comes to the bench, and Jacques Loutier is going in. Greg Millen, who was the starting goaltender through the first 4 games, is not even dressed tonight. McLean out there as well. Rink wide to Mongeau, a shot. Pad saved by Cloutier. Only saw 41 of action in the opening period, but he has seen much more in this second period. Doug Wilson gets it over to Savard. Lowry has lost his stick. Savard at the side of the net in front looking for Murray. And Murray was tied up, couldn't get a shot away. Loose puck, they score! Lemieux, he fires a shot high off the glass. Goulet with a shot right on. Riendeau makes the save. And Lemieux, who has been something of an antagonist in the series, gets involved. And there's more pushing and shoving. Now Harold Sneps and Lemieux are going to go at it. Blake landed a few good punches on that exchange.
He's been a source of concern for the St. Louis Blues.
In the third period, as the Hawks were protecting that 3-2 lead, Mike Keenan says Gilbert is a pillar of steadiness. When the puck comes to him, he knows what to do with it, either to hang on to it or to shoot it in. Savard with a shot, a deflection, they score! Roenick may have scored it. Savard let the shot go, and Roenick was at the side of the net. Racing in was Doug Wilson, but he's trapped now as it's a 2-on-1. Hull winds up, scores!
We get a good look at how he can just shift that weight up in front. Perfect picture, and Cloutier, he was playing Hull all alone, not worrying about the pass, still couldn't stop it.
Cavallini shoots it in. Sutter trying to get after it. He falls as he was checked by Gilbert. Cavallini knocks it back to the net for Wilson. To Sutter. He leaves it for Wilson. Wilson. For Sutter, a shot. Scores! The Blues square the series with a 4-2 win.
The crowd got behind them early. The early penalty and that first power play goal, Don, set the stage for a big St. Louis victory.
A roar of approval from 18,081 at the St. Louis Arena. A standing ovation for the victorious St. Louis Blues.
Call up 3 weeks ago from the end of the season, rather. Now getting a start in the 7th game.
Thomas picks it up in the corner, rifles it around the boards, and Presley has it for Chicago to Wilson. On the right side for Roenick. Roenick in the slot, a backhander, he scores!
If they can charge after that power play, trying to put some offense.
Here comes Roenick, trying to go around Snets. He cuts for the net, he scores!
If you go at the net, you'll see it right here as Roenick is able to go in. That puck struck the right pad of Riendo, and you'll see Snaps get trapped on the outside, but he just throws it at the goaltender, hoping for the best, and that's what he got. And Hull moved back. He went to his forehand, and Brind'Amour was all alone as, see, Graham and Larmer were both concerned with...
That's the best save for Belfour tonight. Brown will try. He gets away from Hull. Now has some time and some room to Graham. A lead pass to Larmer. Going in, he shoots, scores! He has Larmer crossing on the play with him. Savard for Larmer. Larmer back to the net. Looking out front. Gets it to Savard. There's the shot. He scores!
See it finally right here. They just go right by the net and leave them all alone.
And we've got a goaltending change coming up. Curtis Joseph will be coming in. Brian Sutter had gone all the way with Riendo. He came on in relief of Curtis Joseph when Joseph was injured in Game 5 of the Toronto series. Riendo played the first 6 games of this series, and with 12:32 remaining in the second, he goes to the bench. Curtis Joseph is coming in.
Talk about playoffs. The unexpected happens so much. It looked like the Blues goaltending was solid for 6 games. Hawks were moving back and forth.
Larmer in the corner. Back to the line to Yanni. Yanni gets across ice to Manson. He scores! Behind his own net. He's knocked down. McLean gets it. Back to the line. Brown with a shot fired wide. McLean takes a shot. He scores! Paul McLean, with his first of this series, picked up that shot off the end boards and very quickly fired it past Ed Belfour. Larmer back to the line. Into Larmer, back to the point, they score! Steve Conroy! Shoot saved by Joseph. Larmer, a strong game tonight for Chicago. Out front to Creighton, he scores!
Larmer's had a big game, and Creighton set him up first, but Creighton's able to put it over the glove of Joseph. And for Adam Creighton, talking with him before the game, he's only averaged a little over a shot a game in the playoffs, and I was kidding him the fact that, Adam, if you're going to score, you got to take some shots.
And we're just 17 seconds away from a finish. Intercepted by Dwayne Sutter, he scores! And they're going to finish the game despite all the debris that lays out there. And it's all over. Well, as the game came to an end, I don't know whether the Sutter clan in Viking, Alberta was laughing or crying. Dwayne Sutter getting the final goal for Chicago. Brian Sutter and Rich Sutter, the coach and the player with the St. Louis Blues, on the losing end of the score. Ed Belfour with a big third period. He wasn't tested early, but he came up with some strong saves late. Vincent Riendeau started the game. He left after 4 goals, and his replacement, Curtis Joseph, also yielded 4 goals in a lopsided 8-2 Chicago Blackhawk victory over the St. Louis Blues. A number of outstanding performances tonight turned in by key Blackhawk performers.
Well, this is the ritual. You see that these two teams battled it right out in the regular season, and the Blues had a big edge, 5-2-1 over the Hawks. But finally, as the Hawks made it to first place, they were rewarded. It started off not to be a homer series, but it ended up the last 3 games where they won the home ice. Big factor.
Now let's go downstairs. Here's Chris Cuthbert.
Thanks. Okay, here's the inspirational leader of this team, Dirk. When did you know you were going to play today?
Well, I didn't really decide on it until late this afternoon, but I figured it was the 7th game. I'd give it a try. Tried it in warm-up. It felt all right, so I decided to try it.
Did you anticipate this kind of result?
No, I didn't. It was a tight series, 1-goal games all series. The guys just played an unbelievable game. We came out, we wanted it the most, I think.
Looking forward to Edmonton?
Very much so.
Congratulations to Dirk Graham, the captain of the Hawks, and here comes Ed Belfour. What a story he has been. They've been chanting Eddie, Eddie. Big game for you, Ed.
Yeah, it feels great. You know, the crowd here, they support us all the time, and it's, you know, they're going to be for us all the time. The guys played great for me tonight. Didn't have to make that many saves.
Any doubt that you'd play tonight?
What's that?
Any doubt that you would get the start tonight? I know, it's terrible here. It's great, it's exciting, but obviously you didn't lose your confidence in St. Louis.
No, I just kept working. You know, I knew I could do the job, and you know, I just going to go into every game with the same attitude.
Good luck in Edmonton.
Thanks a lot.
Ed Belfour. Now we're going to bring in Jeremy Roenick. Jeremy, of course, got things rolling tonight. The 2 goals in the first period really set the tone for the night.
Well, it was a good start. I mean, we had to come out and play real hard in the beginning because, you know, we knew they were going to come out storming, and we came out and just took the play to them, and that's the whole reason why we